This message comes from Bombas. Socks, underwear, and T-shirts are the top 3 requested clothing items by people experiencing homelessness. Bombas makes all 3 and donates 1 item for every item purchased. Go to bombas.com/NPR and use code NPR for 20% off.
Do you think there's any part of us that lives on after we die?
Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
Which part?
The eyeballs, mostly. They're the last to decompose. There's all the stuffness of our bodies, but there's this incredible durability to how we think about the soul.
I'm Rachel Martin, and this is Wild Card, the show where cards control the conversation. Each week, my guest answers questions about their life, pulled from a deck of cards. They're allowed to skip one and to flip one question back on me. My guest this week is author and professor and podcaster, Kate Bowler.
Love and mystery have gotten me farther, I think, down the road than certainty did. But I do miss certainty.
You know when something bad happens in life and people around you don't really know what to say to make it feel better. And some of them think that the trick to fixing it is to tell you that there must be some lesson that you're supposed to learn from the bad thing, or that your suffering is okay because it's all part of some grand universal plan. We all know those people, and they mean well, they do, but when your world falls apart, the last thing you want to hear is that it's all supposed to be that way. This is the gospel of Kate Bowler. Kate is a New York Times bestselling author, a professor at the Divinity School at Duke University, a native of the great country of Canada, and the host of the podcast, Everything Happens. I first met Kate in 2018 when I interviewed her for her memoir that she had just written about dealing with a stage 4 cancer diagnosis when she was about 35 years old. She writes about all the not so helpful things that people said and did to try and help her get through it. Kate refers to those sentiments as toxic positivity, which happens because there is too much pressure in American culture to find the silver lining in things that just suck. Kate Bowler, welcome to Wild Card.
Rachel,
Hi.
I'm so glad to see you. It's so true. When we first met, I was very, very sick and possibly dying, but mostly like, oh my gosh, it's Rachel Martin. I'm so excited.
For God's sakes.
You were my very first interview, and I have super creepy photos of me just basically cheerleader hugging you or trying to be the big spoon. So it's really good to see you again.
Oh my gosh. It's been a lot of living has happened for you since then. A lot of actual life that you didn't think you were going to have.
That's right.
And career stuff and
same hair length. I mean, it's all, it comes, it goes.
Well, I'm so glad you were willing to do this with me.
I'm excited.
So we're going to get to the game in just a minute. But first, I want to talk about what I just laid out there. I introduced you with this whole idea of toxic positivity and the things that we try to tell each other to just it's all going to be fine. Where are you on your journey with that? Because Kate, you're an incredibly positive person. I mean, you are. Your whole thing is so positive.
Right. I hear you. That is probably true. I think where I'm really hoping, because American cultural scripts are very limiting. I have read, for instance, as part of a research project I'm doing, every bestseller for the last 50 years. And I will tell you that the cultural prescriptions that we read are, pretty blindingly optimistic. They're like, hope you don't feel sad, because that would mean there's something wrong with you, you. So I'm really hoping, I guess, as part of living into a better cultural story is that we can really learn to ride the roller coaster up and down, that we can feel the incredible highs and the joys and of humor and hilarity, but that we can also get a lot more comfortable with confusion, dread, that we can go into the depths with people. Because I think that's where, this is psychologist Lisa D'Amour's true definition of mental health, is that you can feel the appropriate emotion at the right time. And so high or low, I really hope that we can round out our experience of emotion.
So it's not a warning against framing things in a positive light.
No. And in fact, I think part of our ability to be hopeful or courageous is to be able to see the places in our life where we actually can change. It's just, there has to be more space between the idea that we all, American culture loves to say, like, everything is possible. And they worry that if they don't say everything is possible, that they'll be forced into saying nothing is possible. And then they're just sort of French existentialists smoking in the back of the train. But like, there is a place in between of like limited agency. And I want to stay there. Like, what is possible today? What can be done with what we have with our short, limited, beautiful, dumb lives?
We're going to play a game.
I'm excited.
Are you?
I'm so excited.
Okay. Here are the first 3 cards. And you pick 1, 2, or 3.
2, please.
What's a tradition or ritual that feels unique to your family?
Oh. Well, in the spring, my dad was always too lazy to clean the eaves troughs. Sorry, what's the American word? Gutters?
Eaves trough. Oh, gutter.
Sorry.
Yeah, gutter.
Sorry.
Eaves
gutters.
trough
Yeah,
sounds
sorry.
way better.
That's well.
Eaves
The
trough.
eaves. We had to climb a ladder to reach the eaves.
Yeah.
Where all the mourning doves, huge families of mourning doves were always dead. And so my dad would send all of his little girls up on ladders to clean the gutters.
This is your family ritual?
Yep.
Is
Every
gutter
spring,
cleaning?
my dad was too lazy and too determined to teach his little girls a work ethic. So we would climb the ladders and cry for all the birds we'd lost that year. And that is so burned into my mind as part of our spring ritual. Take that, Dad.
But did it give you, are you good with your, with the physical world, Kate? Are you like, you can see a thing that needs to be done around your house and you're like, I will go clean those gutters. I will go mow the lawn.
I'm married into this family which belongs to this religious group called the Mennonites, and they are insanely practical. Like they're the people who will, if they see IKEA flat pack furniture lying dormant in the universe, they will build it. So I did feel like I joined a
Wow.
tribe of people who are like, oh, like tut. Like, is that, just always like testing the structural integrity of drawers, running a hand over the drywall to see if the spackling is smooth. And you're like, stop judging me. So last Thanksgiving, I was very, very sad for unnamed reasons. And so I built a barrel sauna in my backyard, my sauna of sadness. So yeah, I think I came out kind of practical.
You did?
With my Mennonite husband, we built our sauna of despair.
I won't make you tell me right now what was so sad, but does hot steam make you happier?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Oh,
you can,
interesting.
It's like a little confessional in there.
Uh-huh.
You're just like, come into my dark, dank chamber of infinite sorrow. So it's great. It's my favorite place.
Okay, sauna of despair. We're moving. 1, 2, or 3?
1, please.
1. What's an early memory of appreciating beauty?
Oh. I love Canadian lakes. And so my parents put me in this ridiculous survivor camp when I was young called Pioneer Camp. And you didn't get anything that was nice about camp. You just got the outdoor part. But the best part is you'd get up like 6 in the morning and you see the mist on the lake and you can always hear like the distinctiveness like at dusk and dawn of the loons and their weird like boo boo little sound. I think they're the most beautiful, weirdest bird on earth. So yeah, I think Canadian lakes will always, always make me think that the world is good.
This message comes from Sony Pictures Classics presenting The Room Next Door, the first English-language feature film by Pedro Almodovar starring Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton. After years of being out of touch, 2 friends meet again in an extreme but strangely sweet situation. Winner of the Golden Lion for Best Film at the Venice Film Festival. The Room Next Door is now playing in select cities, coming soon to theaters nationwide. Support for NPR and the following message come from Boll & Branch. Change your sleep with the softness of Boll & Branch's 100% organic cotton sheets. Feel the difference with 15% off your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com with code NPR. Exclusions apply. See site for details. This message comes from Mint Mobile. From the gas pump to the grocery store, inflation is everywhere. So Mint Mobile is offering premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. To get your new phone plan for just $15, go to mintmobile.com/switch.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Lisa. Good sleep should come naturally, and with the new Natural Hybrid mattress, it can. A collaboration between Lisa and West Elm, the Natural Hybrid is expertly crafted from natural latex, natural wool, and certified safe foams to elevate your sleep sanctuary and support a greener tomorrow. Plus, every purchase helps fuel Lisa's work with shelters and those in need. Visit lisa.com to learn more. That's LEESA.com.
This is round 2, okay? So first round was memories. This is insights. 3 new cards. 1, 2, or 3.
1.
1. What do you wish you could let go of?
I would love to say a certain regret, because regrets are one of my very favorite topics. It's, I mean,
Go there. Because I think you think like me, that we have them and they exist.
Absolutely.
And people who think they don't have them are deluding themselves?
exactly.
Yes!
Exactly. I think one of the funniest things about American culture is their absolute insistence that there's some kind of relationship between having regrets and then A, not growing, or B, not being willing to reframe it. Like a regret is something they just haven't reframed. Geez Louise,
Right.
there are so many things we should all regret. I mean, things I ate yesterday at 2 a.m. Absolutely.
But Kate, that cold pizza made you who you are today, so we can't regret it.
This is the end of the celebrity interview moment, and it made me who I am today. I couldn't possibly regret my doping scandal. Oh my gosh.
Okay, but since this is the
Okay.
product of a question that was, what's something you want to let go of?
Oh,
Tell me
sorry.
the answer to that. No, that can be a regret or a trait or however you interpret that.
I would love to let go of always. I think it's something I write about all the time because I'm always really struggling with it, is that cultural insistence that we always have to be getting better. I'd love to give up the idea that in every area of my life, I'm supposed to, come the new year, always have this New Year's moment. But I always end up looking at my life like it's some kind of quadrant with, progress and mostly dramatic and sudden failures. And so I am always accidentally measuring. And I don't think that's, I think we're supposed to get worse at some things because we're not paying any attention to it and we found something better to focus on. I wish for everyone that they didn't wake up and think about how much they weigh in the morning. I mean, just what a waste of time.
Yeah.
Waste of a good woman over here. It's just caring.
Yeah. So now I go one step deeper and ask you to share, if you would be willing to, one thing besides besides getting on the scale.
Sure.
Well, what's a thing that you find yourself measuring yourself with or against that you want to release?
Okay. There's a way of measuring a day that I've been trying desperately to stop doing, and I can't seem to do it. And it started so long ago that I think it was probably the first time I really started thinking about efficiency and treating my life like a Ford Motor Company. But when I wake up in the day, I know exactly how many hours it takes me to do some of the most important things that I want to do. Like I know exactly how long writing should take me for a certain number of words. And that served me really well when I had cancer. I mean, I was like, Kate, this is the amount of time I have. This is the amount of energy I have. Like, how do I spend my life? But the metaphor of spending is really corrosive.
Yeah.
So then I find it much more difficult to actually focus on some of the really lovely things that I actually need in my life that are not very measurable. Like, I don't read not useful things very often because I'm always trying to put in the time it takes to make the thing I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only way I have, I think, a lot of growth in that area is friends. I can spend I will waste my life with my friends all day long. But when it comes to me, I would love to have more just like uncounted, completely wasted, doesn't matter time.
Yeah.
And I'm so judgy with myself. I have only hopeful feelings that other people will waste their time, but I find it almost impossible for me to waste my time. And I think just I got worse like this when I got sick. And now I'm an efficiency monster and I can't undo it.
Yeah. But that's a time, especially if you're facing a diagnosis like that, time becomes this, it's just, you're thinking about it all the time. 3 more cards. This is the last one in this round. 1, 2, 3.
2.
Is there anything you long for?
All right, young lady. I picked the you have to answer it.
Oh, flippity flippers. I like this card because I like to say the word long for, or the 2 words together. I like what it evokes. I haven't quite mapped out what that means for me in my answer. Here's the truth, Kate. I am pretty longing free right now.
Hey, all right.
I have gone through chapters of deep, deep longing. But, I'm okay. I've gone through some grief. I've lost both my parents, and I had for years a deep longing for that not to be so.
Yeah.
And I've had deep longings about, having a family, and I got to do that. I've had deep longings on behalf of other people, wanting other people in my life to be happier. So I feel like I've gotten on the other side of a lot of what I defined as longing in my own life. And that feels pretty good right now. I mean, I can always like spin off into the existential, like, what do I long for? A peaceful world. What do I long for? For people of different opinions to get in a room and like hug. Yes, I long for these things. But just on a deep personal level, I'm not longing right now. And that feels nice. So thank you for asking me. I clearly needed to vent about that because I got all and now you still have to answer it.
Oh, shoot. Okay, I had a very embarrassing situation happen a couple of weeks ago, which I think answers this question. I had like a marketing company come and look at all the stuff that me and my team makes over at Everything Happens. We make a lot of like curriculum and, podcasts, but we make a lot of stuff. And we were like, could you help us focus and create better public language around what we do? And they were like, yeah, totally. We'll do a huge deep dive on who you are and blah, blah, blah. And then they put together this absolutely beautiful presentation about it in front of my entire team, and just picture like a very large room full of everyone, including everyone's friend and mom and etc. And they're like, welcome. And they're so good. And they're so good at what they do. And they go, welcome. Weaving people come to you. And it was like a picture of me. And it was like, because you are, and it wasn't they are, it was you are. Because you are, next slide, lonely.
What?
And
that was the marketing takeaway?
That was absolutely spot on. It was like, you are, quote, deeply lonely. And I have never seen my own longings and existential angst set to a PowerPoint before.
On a screen, just on the one slide.
Enormous. And everybody looked at me and I was like, damn. They were
Wow.
so horrifying about it. It was like, because you seek, next slide, belonging. And I was like, screw you. And they were like, is that right? And I was like, oh, can we do this? Can we do this in private? This is so
Wow.
funny. And this is, I think, partly
So
why
was it-
I
yeah,
love
I think
Vivek, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy's stuff on loneliness,
Yeah.
because I'm like, one, totally, I am a really lonely person. And I mean, I have wonderful friends and blah, 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 but like that deep things happen and who will I be able to have what I need in the worst moments in my life? Why does my life continue to stay hard? Aren't I too much when I go through the terrible thing? I mean, that like heartbeat of ache and sadness that really, really has gotten, pretty loud during diagnostic stages of my life. I just thought it was absolutely wild that strangers doing a survey could look
Like,
at me and be like,
we see you.
oh, they
We
were
got your
right.
number, girlfriend.
They were right. And so I'm trying to, I guess, maybe be a little more comfortable with being honest about that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, that was my Trey honest answer because it was on a PowerPoint.
This message comes from NPR sponsor Lisa. Good sleep should come naturally, and with the new Natural Hybrid mattress, it can. A collaboration between Lisa and West Elm, the Natural Hybrid is expertly crafted from natural latex, natural wool, and certified safe foams to elevate your sleep sanctuary and support a greener tomorrow. Plus, every purchase helps fuel Lisa's work with shelters and those in need. Visit lisa.com to learn more. That's LEESA.com. This message comes from Carvana. Sell your car the convenient way. Enter your license plate or VIN, answer a few questions, and get a real offer in seconds. Go to Carvana.com today. This message comes from Wealthfront. Get 4% APY on your cash from partner banks with Wealthfront's cash account. Go to wealthfront.com/NPR for a $50 bonus with a $500 deposit when you open your first cash account. This has been a paid message from Wealthfront. Cash account offered by Wealthfront Brokerage LLC, member FINRA SIPC, not a bank. APY on deposits as of December 27, 2024 is representative, subject to change, and requires no minimum. Funds are swept to partner banks where they earn the variable APY.
Work takes up most of your time. That's why you should use Stamps.com to save time with your mailing and shipping and have flexibility to focus on more important things. Stamps.com can handle all your mailing and shipping needs with rates up to 88% off USPS and UPS. Add flexibility to your day with Stamps.com. Go to Stamps.com/program to sign up for a special offer. No contract, cancel anytime. That's Stamps.com/program.
We're moving into the last round. 3 new cards. 1, 2, or 3.
3, please.
3. Have your feelings about God changed over time?
Do you ask everyone this?
That's a real question in the deck.
I love it. That's okay. New favorite question. Yes.
I asked Seth Meyers and he said no.
He did
They've
know?
remained incredibly consistent. Never believed, still don't. End of story.
That's
so, yes.
amazing. That's great. Yes. I used to think of Christianity as an answer factory. And I always loved those books that were like, do you have questions? The Bible has answers. I was like, oh, satisfying. And it was probably my favorite thing about my parents becoming Christians a little bit later in life is they were so smart and they really thought of their faith as an extension of their curiosity. So I thought, man, this is just the right place for questions, but also answers and most importantly, answers. And then I think when I got sick and I didn't, and my life was coming apart and I couldn't come up with a single reason why it would be me and not somebody else, or conversely, why I would be special enough at all that was even the right question. I started to feel like my answer factory version was just, I started to think of it, I started calling it like another prosperity gospel, like the idea that you think your life should be happy, healthy, wealthy, and that God's always going to create a moreness, even if the moreness is a kind of an emotional or intellectual satisfaction. And instead, sometimes what you mostly just get is love and mystery. So love and mystery have gotten me farther, I think, down the road than certainty did. But I do miss certainty. It was a lot more fun, and I was better at Trivial Pursuit.
Wait, how is certainty? It feels reassuring, but it actually doesn't sound that fun.
Totally. Also, like, are there great mysterious questions of the universe? Would they be good questions if someone had already answered them? We just hadn't looked it up?
No.
Did you know the problem of evil has been solved? What?
Boom! Right. That's not fun at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a show.
It'd just be Rachel Martin answers. Period.
Right.
It's a very short.
But in all, I just want one more tap on this because people who do not prescribe to a religion or spiritual tradition or don't believe in a higher power or a deity, how do you explain why the mystery gives you security? How does not having the answer to things make you feel better?
Yeah. Well, I would say there's no security is pretty low on the list of things that that faith will give you. I mean, because if you just, you think about any analogy for love, like you love somebody, it's the most unsafe thing in the world. You love and you love and you love, and there'll never be enough. And you're loving in the face of knowing that you will always, in every version, lose them, or they will lose you. So there's nothing safe about love. And I think that's just true about God as it is about other people, is we can have a great experience of the adventure of feeling like made for love and released out into a dangerous world with the purpose of loving others. But none of it, I think, will feel secure. And I really understand why people want to turn to faith as a source of comfort, sure, but safety, security, no, we're stuck with the same questions as everybody else. Yeah. So I feel deeply loved by God and also deeply confused by most of what happens on this earth. So, and that seems probably like sanity.
Now I'm wishing there's a card I wish had come up, but I feel like you would have. What confuses you in a wonderful way? And I feel like you would have had good answers to that question.
Sporks.
Sporks. Okay, 3 more cards. 1, 2, or 3?
3.
Do you think there's any part of us that lives on after we die?
Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
Which part?
The eyeballs, mostly. They're the last to decompose. No. It's so funny. If you're ever interested in having a favorite poet mortician, I have one. His name is Thomas Lynch. And
a poet mortician?
Yeah. He, by day, mortician. By night, very good poet.
That is a fascinating combo. I can hear it.
He's a lot of fun to talk about this question with, about like what remains. And and even a way, like, because, there's all the stuffness of our bodies, but there's this like incredible durability to how we think about the soul. And really, it's even in just how we remember people, like what made them this and not that. Like what odd specificity like made that person's laugh and made that like wicked part of their sense of humor like shine or pissed you off like nobody else. And I just think there's this delicious distilled absurdity, this like tragic comedy that is us. And I think that pressed into the rare diamond that is our soul. That just gets to live forever.
Have you had close people die, and how do you feel them? How do you sense that soul? Is that what you do?
Constant hauntings.
Are you being serious?
No, I really don't believe in hauntings. Some people
I don't know.
Rachel's like, this took a weird turn.
I'm happy to go there with you.
No, yes, I've had close people die. And I really am like, my belief in heaven is that we are just the truth of us is carried forward in love, and we get to, we can talk to them whenever we want to. We can feel their love shine on us. But I don't know.
How much does your son know about your diagnosis, and do you talk to him about death and what that looks like and what happens after people die? What would happen after you died?
I always tried to be really, Zach is like the bullseye of my heart. He's like the core of the core. And I think I was most nervous about anything related to my illness or death, or even just other people talking about heaven, because I really wanted to be super careful about how he understood.
Yeah.
Kind of what we believe as Christians, but also whether he should be scared for me, his mom. And so I always bought these little like dolls with anatomical organs. And I was like, right now I have a mistake in this one. And then would like take it out and be like, this is a colon. It is God's food tube. just like, I found that the more like concrete and physical and specific I got, it would feel like the death being a failure of your organs. All those things would feel a lot easier for him to understand. Because when I was the sickest, he was the littlest. And as he aged, I was significantly better. And so I've always been really careful about how sick he believes that I am at any time. But I've always wanted him to know in every version, like, this God we love means that when it comes to love, we will never be apart. We will never be apart. And also, I don't want to go anywhere in which I can't smell your skin and feel your ridiculous chubby hand on my face and watch you accidentally lock yourself in handcuffs and walk past my office 200 times while I'm working. Like, heaven is nothing compared to you. So I've always been so disappointed by stories of the afterlife, because it's not a story of putting Zach to bed. So that's been always the hardest. Because I keep having health problems, and in every version, I have to be the one that decides how scared everyone is. So I've tried to take it really slow.
Yeah. That's also a lot of pressure, though, because it doesn't allow you to just be scared, because you have to think about how your own fear is going to then trickle down and affect everybody
else. And I'm
else.
like really resentful of the way most people of faith talk about heaven as a solution to the problem of pain. And we say it to kids, and I just think it's wrong. It's not a solution. It's an ultimate story of togetherness and the restoration of the world. It is not a comfort. It is not a comfort to people who are told that it will solve every problem. It won't. Pain isn't solved by love. It's not. It's not.
Oh, God.
No,
it's not, is it?
I just want to like, I want him to know this story of faith as one where kind, reasonable people like learn how to love each other better. And also ultimately he will always be known and loved by God and by me. So that's usually the best I can do.
So we end the show the same way every time, with a trip in our memory time machine, where you go back in time and you pick one moment that you would not change anything about. A moment from your past you would not change anything about. You would just like to linger there a little longer. What moment do you choose?
Well, I have a photograph of it, which is my because you never have a photograph of the exact moment that you would never want to leave. But it's the moment that my son asked what his plans were going to be after he graduated, but he meant kindergarten. And he thought after 5.5, he was going to be fully let off the hook to live as he pleased. A man about town.
Go free.
A man of leisure. And I have frozen in my mind the look of like, what the what? That spread across his face when I was like, dude, you've got 12 more years of this indentured servitude. Because my life is endless school, and just watching the true horror show of me being like, you're stuck with me, kid, while he ate cereal in his dinosaur pajamas. That is, he is the most absurd person I will ever meet. And I like being his co-conspirator.
That's a good one. And it's also a little devilish, Kate, that you wanted to revisit the moment of your boy's pain. But
he looks. Why? I want the look of loving. Why have you done this to me? Why? To just be a part of all my relationships.
Kate Bowler is a New York Times bestselling author, professor at the Divinity School at Duke, and she is the host of the podcast Everything Happens. Kate, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure.
If you liked this episode, you should listen to the episode I did with author Ann Patchett. She was funny and wise, and I still think about what she said about being able to sort of curate her Catholic faith. Check it out. For Wildcard Plus this week, Kate Bowler tells me why jokes feel like prayer to her.
I think to me that is like anything that combines honesty with humor is my very favorite thing.
You can hear that answer by signing up for Wildcard Plus, which is a great way to support our show and public radio and listen sponsor-free. Find out more at plus.npr.org/wildcard. This episode was produced by Lee Hale and Romel Wood and edited by Dave Blanchard. It was mastered by Robert Rodriguez. Wildcard's executive producer is Beth Donovan. Our theme music is by Ramteen Arablui. You can reach out to us at wildcard@npr.org. We'll shuffle the deck and be back with more next week. See you then.
This message comes from ADP. Whether it's a last-minute policy change or adding a new company holiday, anything can change the world of work. From HR to payroll, ADP helps businesses take on the next anything. ADP, always designing for people.
Support for NPR and the following message come from IXL Learning. IXL Learning uses advanced algorithms to give the right help to each kid no matter the age or personality. Get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when you sign up today at IXL.com/NPR. This message comes from Whole Foods Market. Find sales on supplements, no antibiotics ever grass-fed ground beef, sustainable wild-caught sockeye salmon, and more feel-good favorites. Boost your wellness routine with Jumpstart January savings at Whole Foods Market. Terms apply.